Well, hello again to all my friends out there on the World Wide Web. That's you guys. Thank you for joining today. This is just a random live AMA, all for you guys. Whoever's going to join today. There's no specific topic. I will be working on some graphics for something for social media and chatting with you guys. So that's really what it's all about. I haven't done a live stream on here in, I don't know, like what, 2 weeks or something. So it's that time, and I need to be on these things. So yeah, the whole purpose of this channel and everything that we do. Well, I say this channel, but I think we're like multi-streaming across like a few different platforms. But the purpose of this is to help you answer questions, hang out. I don't know, all that fun stuff. That's really it. I know it's just like a completely random time as well, but I figured, hey, why not? I'm just gonna kind of be grinding away here on some graphics. So I'm hoping the audio is working. I'm not seeing any chat coming through. So if y'all can hear me, somebody throw something in the chat. Just let me know. I would appreciate that, because I cannot tell you how many times I have started a live stream and I just talk and talk, and then everybody's like, "Oh, we can't hear you." Let me pull this up on YouTube because I don't know if audio working great. What's going on, Brother Bishop? Good to see you today. Hope you are doing wonderful and amazing. What's going on, Brad? Mehmed, how y'all doing? There is no specific topic for today's live stream, just so y'all know. But if y'all want to watch me design some graphics, I can totally share my screen and you guys can check that out if you'd like. Hand pink Wayne, what's going on? Potato. I need to pull up a new window here. So yeah, there is, again, no specific theme, just a random live stream. I don't expect too many people to join. There's no warning. But if you have questions about working in IT, I would love to answer them. I actually enjoy that. So every week, actually, if you do enjoy events where people come on to your screen and they share advice with you, they answer questions, talk about their experience working in IT or cybersecurity. Every single week on the Anti-Siphon Discord server, we do a weekly, like this kind of thing with a bunch of people, like a weekly AMA. And that's on. I'll get you all the link. Discord.gg Anti-Siphon. Pow. If you haven't joined that Discord, that's where I hang out all the time now. What's going on, Avery? Casual Joseph, how are you doing, sir? Good to see you here. Always good to see you. You haven't messaged me on LinkedIn lately. You've been busy or what? I'm giving you a hard time, but I genuinely mean it. Where you been, bro? Jacob Thompson. Oh my God, it's you. What's up, man? How are you doing, sir? Roy Terror. Yeah, let's see. I'll throw your chat on the screen. You work in the industrial maintenance department in a beginner position over there, and you want to know if it's worth it to go in IT, even if your current job you get more than an IT entry level. Well, I mean, that's always like a hard question to ask, quite honestly. If you know, how much time do you have to spend on studying for IT? It would be like one question to you. There's actually so many questions that I have for you, because this is such a it's a unique question in so many ways, but it just boils down to like, how much time do you have to spend studying? How much of a pay cut can you reasonably take? And or more so the or, like, if you have time to study and you're not in a hurry by any means, I would encourage you to really dive deep into studying, and take your time through it. learn more advanced skill sets. And this is going to take maybe, I would say like a year or two or so of your time just to study and really get in depth with some of this stuff. There could be a possibility where you could skip entry level roles because you've taken, a couple years to study some of these things. It just depends on like what you want to do. There's so many different factors at play, honestly. Keaton, you're having trouble finding a job. What could you do? Do you network with people on like LinkedIn, Discord? Those are always going to be great starts for you. There's things like meetups that you can go to. So any like local meetups in your area, there's a great website that's called meetup.com. I'll grab that link for you. You could look up like local events that are happening around you that are IT related. You can join those. You can go to those. They're mostly free, I think, for the most part. Um, and network with people there. Of course, network with people on LinkedIn, Discord, of course. But are you applying for jobs? And if you are applying for jobs, are you getting calls back? Are you getting into the interview even? Like there's so many questions. I have all the questions for y'all. One question about path. You really love hardware, but in an area where you live, there's and I'm in jobs for hardware. What is a similar entry level IT path for you? Yeah, there's really not a lot of hardware jobs that like exists. There are like service there. I mean, there are going to be service. I don't know where you're located. That's going to be the other thing. So, yeah, where do you live? Like I know in the US, when I think of like hardware jobs that actually exist and they are very limited, I think of mostly like consultants and stuff like that. Like mom and pop shops are going to do a lot of hardware stuff. But like outside of that, at like an enterprise level, you're looking at like service centers or um contractors that work with like Dell, IBM, Lenovo, HP, etc. There are roles out there that exist where you'll travel from location to location, so from like business to business, and you'll replace hardware. You replace motherboards on laptops, on desktops, on servers, and replace screens and keyboards and all that stuff. There are some jobs like that, but yeah, typically like there's not a lot of like hardware specific jobs out there in the IT world. David M. Hey, you're taking a cloud mastery boot camp and you'll study for those certs. Is cloud a good way to get a remote job? Maybe focus on cloud security certs. I mean, yeah. So I guess what's your experience now? Have you worked in IT? Do you have a degree? Do you have any certifications already? That's a question I have back to you. I think clouds, it's a great place to be. There's definitely a lot going on with the cloud. So meaning that there's definitely, I think, room for opportunity there for you. It just, it's one of those hard questions for me to answer for you without having more like backstory on you and yeah, your current skill set and all that too. But to initially get a job, cloud, man, like you're gonna have to do a lot of networking with people for sure. It's not gonna. I wouldn't say that's gonna be the easiest route to take initially. Healthy lifestyle. As an IT engineer, do we need to know hardware and software troubleshooting? You're working in order to have your CCNA. Just wondering what you need to know before I start applying for a job. I mean, so I'll potentially get pushback on this. Maybe I always think it's a great idea to know how to troubleshoot like most hardware and software. If you're working in IT, I guess there could be like there's obviously maybe certain circumstances where it's not necessarily needed by any means, but I guess this is probably just all the years of experience talking where it's just like, yeah, having some of that fundamental knowledge of knowing how to troubleshoot hardware and software, it's always something great to have. You say IT engineer, but that can mean so many different things. Um, are you looking more entry level? You say that you're going to get your CCNA, but that's like that's networking focused, so not necessarily like engineer focused. So yeah, what is it that you would like to do? I have so many questions for everybody today, and I'm sorry. I feel like this is great because I get to engage with you, but like I also just don't have like good answers to give to y'all without me having all the proper information that I would need to give you the best advice that I can. Potato, you've been employed for years after receiving your degree in IT. Oh, to get a footing in cybersec. Been doing factory jobs lately to try and afford equipment for IT jobs. 30-year old now. You're from Southeast Asia, and you currently live in Southeast Asia as well. But you don't necessarily need to get equipment to start. So I was going to say, like, you definitely start getting some hands-on with, with like a lot of the tools, technologies, and things like that. But you don't necessarily need equipment. You can virtualize everything nowadays. So from your own computer, you can virtualize like different operating systems. So like Microsoft Server, you can virtualize different Linux operating systems as well, and you can really start playing around with a lot of things. So degree is going to be a great thing for you to have. Is your degree in IT? Is it in cybersecurity? What's your degree in? Um, yeah, again, questions for you all. Steven, how you doing today? 47 test engineer. Been interested in cybersecurity for a while, and you recently started IBM CC cybersecurity certificate. That's a mouthful. Course on Coursera. What's the best path you should take moving forward? Well, what is it that you would like to do in the world of cybersecurity? My question back to you, my friend. What area of cybersecurity interests you the most? After you go through that course, you should kind of have like, I mean, I haven't looked through all of that material. I've looked through some of it, but you should be getting a general idea of like things that you're going to be interested in within the world of cybersecurity. Um, that's like, I always like to tell people, like, if you're interested in cybersecurity, what area of cybersecurity are you interested in? And if you don't know, if you're like completely like unaware that there are multiple types of jobs that you can have within cybersecurity, first thing I would suggest that you do is look up job titles within cybersecurity. So you can Google this, like cybersecurity job titles. And then once you have some of those titles down that maybe sound like appealing to you, they sound interesting just based off the title alone, go out on the YouTube, like some of you are now, and take that job title, throw it in the YouTube search bar, and put that whatever job title is, day in the life of, right? Look and see if there's any videos out there on the World Wide Web that exist. They'll show you a day in the life of that position, right? And hopefully these people like walk you through, like, hey, this is what I do every day, and these are the things that I've learned, and here's how I got there, right? That's a great way nowadays to learn really like from somebody who's working in the field. Hey, this is what I do. You're going to see right away, is that something you could be interested in? Yes or no. If it is, well, take a look at what they're doing, right? Take a look at like past videos, take a look at their profiles, take a look at, all the credentials and things that they've had. Maybe they have LinkedIn. See what their like history looks like, what their trajectory throughout in their journey through IT looks like. That's going to give you a really good idea of like a path that you could potentially take. It's going to give you an idea of maybe different certifications to go after, or different knowledge, or different skills and technologies and things to look into. Abdul, you really want to get into video editing. Which platform do you recommend for you as a total beginner? Video editing? That's not IT, but video editing. If you have access to a Mac that comes with, iMovie, and that is like probably the best and easiest like initial video editing program, in my opinion, to get started with. But if you don't have access to a Mac, there's like a free one, and I can't think of it. Is it DaVinci? Maybe DaVinci has like a free version or something like that. One of them does. I don't know. I'm in the Adobe suite, so like I use all the Adobe products. I'm sorry, that's not a great. I don't think that's a great start for beginners by any means, and it's expensive as well. What's going on, bearded IT dad? How are you doing, sir? When I say advanced skill set, do I mean CCNA or big certificate like that one? Like which one? I would CCNA CCNA for the most part, I would say is like a very like I wouldn't say it's necessarily entry level, but it's like right on the borderline of like entry level to like, you know, intermediate-ish, if you will. The CCNA, like if anybody's ever considering to going and taking their CompTIA Network Plus, stop yourself dead in your tracks right now, turn around, do whatever you need to do, and go look into the CCNA because the CCNA is cheaper and it's like a million times more marketable than the CompTIA Network Plus. There's just some random thoughts for y'all. Dom Hill, how would you get companies to recognize your skills on social media platforms such as LinkedIn? You share your knowledge, sir or ma'am. I don't know what whatever, whoever you are. Share your knowledge, share your experience. Go when you're on LinkedIn. If you are come across a post, you see something, and it's something that you know something about, like you have knowledge in whatever that post is about. You have experience in whatever that post is about. Share your perspective, share your knowledge, write LinkedIn articles, share documentation that you've done, share walkthroughs that you've done. And if you have not done any of that, start doing that. Like if you're not documenting things that you're doing now, start documenting everything that you do. And you could take that documentation, turn it into blogs, turn it into just like knowledge articles, or just share it with people who, again, maybe looking into that same information, maybe confused about some things. I think that's a great way for people to recognize your skills, especially on like social media platforms. Like you can obviously like put your skills in your LinkedIn profile and whatever, but like whatever, that's honestly just whatever. I would take the time to share your knowledge on the platform, share your experience. How to get an entry level job in cybersecurity? Hmm. I can go so many different ways with that question. Start applying. No, like what's your experience level? Do you have any experience in IT? Do you have any certifications? Do you have a degree? And then what's your overall knowledge level? Like there's so like it's a very difficult question to ask. While it could be like while it does look that simple, like how to get an entry level job, should be like fairly simple question maybe to answer to some people. You would think maybe, I don't know. I get that impression sometimes that people think it's like an easy question to answer, but it's really not once you start like diving into the world of cybersecurity and understanding how vast it is. Yeah, I can't get to all the questions super fast. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like, I don't know, 6 minutes behind now at this point. Sorry. Jacob Thompson, how are you doing, sir? I hope you're doing all right. Any good advice on job search burnout? No, honestly. Job search sucks. I'm not gonna read the rest of your question yet because I'm just gonna focus on that. Um, yeah, it's so frustrating, and I feel bad, right? Like I do. I genuinely do feel bad because like I know how much it does suck. The only thing I could tell you is just like keep your head up and stay persistent. It's just like there's not really good advice for that. I feel like, or at least I don't have the best advice for that because I know how daunting and how just draining looking for a new job can be. I don't know if somebody else has good advice for you. I would love to hear it. I'm trying to keep this from like a realistic perspective, and it's just like, man, I just feel for you more than anything. Like more than I want to sit here and try to give you advice, I just feel for you because I just genuinely don't think there's good advice that I or anyone could give you other than to keep your head up and stay persistent. And, I hope that one day something comes along for you that works out for you. Rest of your question now. Excuse me. You've been applying, interviewing a lot, and it's starting to wear on you, and you're not getting the offer, or the offer comes in lower than you currently make. Yeah. I mean, so you are getting offers though, man. Like, while yeah, they're not as much as you're making now. I guess my question to you would be based off of what I already know about you, like, is it going to get you a step closer to where you want to be? You know, and are you able to take that pay cut for a little bit of time? You know, maybe that's like a year's worth of time or so. I know that could be incredibly difficult, but like, yeah, that's something that you're gonna have to weigh out too. Is it going to get you closer where you want to be? Yeah, I mean, it's probably not, right? Like, it's gonna suck because nobody wants to take a pay cut. I get that. But the only reassuring thing that I could tell you there, and it does make me happy to see, is, hey, at least you are getting offers. So that's a good sign. The other side of it is, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I feel for you. I'm sorry I can't give you a good answer. What approach should we have while doing a CTF, like a mindset? That's a great question that I cannot answer for you because I have never competed in a CTF before, really. So, if anybody would like to give, I'm not going to try to butcher your name because I'm terrible at pronouncing names. But if anybody would like to give this person advice on a mindset for a CTF, throw it in the chat because I would appreciate it. Brother Bishop, here's your TED Talk. You're a technology specialist for school system. I worked for school systems. I enjoyed it. You also have a side business where you repair electronics. I did the same thing when I worked for school districts. You know, you want to continue and grow in the world of IT. Was there more? Oh, maybe I missed out on something. Thought there was a question there. I'm sorry. Steven, you developed an interest in cybersecurity after working for an automotive company and how cars, who's calling me? The schools? Have become connected, thinking of staying in the business side of cybersecurity and prevent hacking and data breach. So, Steven, I'd have to go back through the chat here. Oh my God. Hello, Adriana. How are you doing? By the way, sorry, Steven. You're trying to get into the side of the field now, right? So you want to stay in the business side. Could you get more detailed on what that means to you? And I'm sorry, I'm going through the chat, y'all. Oh, Brother Bishop, here's the rest of what you were saying. Problem is you have no idea where to begin or even what path to pursue. You want to make good money and be home traditionally by 5 or 6. Any recommendations? Oh my goodness. Well, trying to go back through the chat to see if there was any other information you provided previously. Don't think there was. Man, well, what is it that you want to do really? You want to work in cybersecurity, I think. Yes, no. I'm sorry. I'd like lost the chat. Okay, now my chat just like disappeared. So, Brother Bishop, what you looking to do, my friend? Because my chat just disappeared on me. Do I think aliens exist? Yes. Yes, I do. 100%. Absolutely. Is that bad? I feel like that's okay to believe in stuff, right? Yeah, Jacob Thompson, be kind to yourself. I don't know. That's what Audrey said, but I'll agree with her because she's right like 99.9% of the time. You got one offer and it was like a 50% pay cut. That is just ridiculous. Sam, you have a lot of questions. What do I think about talking about that word that you said at work? I don't like to talk about politics and religion. I don't think those belong. I don't think either of one of those belong at work. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Oh, here, somebody else wants my opinion though. Hey, in my opinion, has a bigger job market, networking or data analysis? Data analysis, hands down, all day, every day. If I could go back in time and I could change the way that like what I did for my career, I would have learned programming for sure. Like hands down, like that's the route that I would have taken. But that's like the greedy side of me saying, "Hey, this is what I would have done if I could have went back. I would have went down programming because yeah, there's a lot of money there, but there's also like a lot of cool things there too. And I always hate that like I didn't further my programming skill set. Um, and I more so look from like the web development side, like PHP at the time, right? Like that's what I was like big into back in the day. Like I'm always upset with myself that I didn't further that skill set because that would have been a great benefit to me now and forever. I feel like, especially with the way everything is going technology wise now, like that. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, House of Beasts, hands down, data analysis. What do I think about getting master's degree? If that's something that you're interested in, I think that's great. If you're not interested in it, I think that's great as well. Is it going to hold you back? Sometimes, if you don't have a master's degree, there might be jobs out there that require it. And you're like really want that job, but it requires a master's degree and you don't have it. Well, guess you can't have that job, right? That does exist still today, like in 2024. But like there's still plenty of jobs out there that don't even care if you have a degree or not. There's jobs out there, there's IT jobs out there that don't even care if you have a high school diploma or not. Meaning like you could have like a GED or, you know, a diploma or not at all. Because IT is just one of those weird career fields that just does not care about that stuff. Truly, for the most part, right? Because you have 16-year-old, 14-year-old kids probably even nowadays, 12-year-olds who could probably just hack circles around every single person in this chat right now. Like that's actual truth. Like 14-year-old kids will blow so many people away on a computer nowadays with their skill sets, right? And these are kids. So like they don't have a degree, they don't have a certification, right? They didn't even graduate from high school yet, but they have an amazing skill set and a tremendous amount of knowledge within IT. It's crazy. Skate Alex 2. You're 3 months in the core 1 studying, making you question if you're in if you're right for this field. Yeah, I knock on CompTIA a lot. Not gonna lie at all. Like I totally knock on them a lot. But I totally give them props where they deserve it. In the case of the A plus certification, I knock the heck out of it because it is a ridiculous certification. It's 2 parts. It's not just one certification. It's like 2 certification exams that you have to take, and it's a ridiculous amount of money. And on top of all of that, because that's just already terrible, a lot of the information that you are going to learn on like from studying that certification doesn't exactly apply to the real world. Like it just truly doesn't. Like honestly, like there needs to be something that's a lot more practical out there. The A plus is not cutting it because you're just like you're looking at the material and you're like raid 1374E5. What are all these raid numbers and RAM and like what is random access memory and what is a diet? Like so much like just like I'm like giving very terrible examples right now, but it's just to say like I wouldn't I wouldn't necessarily think that anybody needs to know the specifics of RAID to be working in IT to start off working in an entry level position. You don't sure RAID exists. It's a way that you can like organize your data, your hard drives, and to have data back up, like either like, cloned or, it's like, anyway, I'm not going to get into all the details of RAID, right? Because you just don't need to know it. Like it's not a requirement for entry level. Same with like RAM speed. No, like you don't necessarily need to know RAM speed. You know what you need to know for entry level? You need to know how to use Google. That's it. Like, I'm sorry if that offends everybody. Like, but yeah, you want to work in entry level IT, learn how to master the Google machine, and you will be an expert and have very good customer service skills. And you will be the best entry level IT person in existence. Like, if you can Google and talk your way like through like a situation, right? Like you are 10 times more qualified than somebody that has their A plus, and that's it. Anyway, I'm gonna get off my tirade there. Hello, Alex Olson. You are agreeing with me. This is true. 100%. She is right 99.9% of the time. We're talking about Audrey for sure. Yay for programming. You would like that, Alex. Lou Draft. You want to get a Linux admin job? What can you do after you get your Linux Plus? Would getting your Network Plus help anything for the Linux admin job? I could get the Net Plus pretty quickly if you did. You must have come into the chat late because I tell everybody to avoid the Network Plus certification. If you want to get a network certification, go get your CCNA. It is like infinitely more valuable than the CompTIA Network Plus all day, every day. And it's cheaper. Jesus Lopez, you heard you have to be good at math and programming for data analysis. Depends, right? More so the programming aspect of things would probably be good. Having some knowledge in math, probably gonna be good. Are those requirements though? Could be. You're making me think on that one, but I mean, you're gonna have to have some like a baseline knowledge there. What that baseline is, I don't know. I suck at math. I would never do data analysis. But I suck at math too, and that's why I always say I'm bad at programming because I suck at math. I feel like people who are really good at math, like they're always really good programmers. I don't know. Maybe that's just like from my experience of talking with people. Hello, you have a class of students on JobTrain watching. Hello, JobTrain. Thank you for watching. What tips can I give them to start their IT careers with the Google IT Support Cert? With just that alone, start networking. Start networking your butt off. That's going to be a good start. But outside of the networking portion of it, and when I say networking, I mean like connecting with people on like LinkedIn, going to meetups. So go to meetup.com, see if there's any local meetups in your area, join those, connect with people in person, connect with people on the line, LinkedIn, Discord, things like that. But the next thing that you should be doing is getting hands on with different technologies and tools. So go download VirtualBox. So virtualbox.org, download that if you haven't already. You can go to like the Windows, the Microsoft website, and you can download Microsoft Server ISO. So you could probably download like, I don't know, the latest Microsoft Server version. Download that ISO and you'll install that with VirtualBox and get it all up and running. It's very easy to do. There's tons of tutorials out there on the internet that walk you through it. It literally takes like minutes to do, like literally like minutes to spin up your own server. But once you do that, once you spin up your own server, promote that server to an Active Directory or promote it to a domain controller, and then you will have Active Directory access from there. You'll add the Active Directory services so you can see, your Active Directory modules or whatever you want to call them. Start learning Active Directory. Like for sure, hands down, like number one thing, I think. I say this only because like it's something that you're going to run across all the time in entry level IT, all the time. Learn Active Directory, learn ticketing systems. So you could also go out. There's osticket.com or osticket.org maybe. You can download their ISO for their ticketing system. It's open source, but get in that, play around with that, because you're going to want to know how to navigate and understand ticketing systems. Because again, in entry level, you're going to be dealing with ticketing systems. You're going to be dealing with like Active Directory, resetting passwords, things like that. Those, and then the last thing, which should have been really like the first thing, is like start documenting everything that you do. Start taking notes, really good notes on everything. But yeah, I don't know. That's going to be like some of the best advice that I can give in short order to help y'all out. You're starting to believe getting into tech and especially the help desk is a scam. The help desk is like a manager spot in retail. Oh, why do you feel like that? Please share. Oh, Chris Howitt, how are you doing, my man? It's always good to see you. Jacob, you remember during your A plus they showed you a picture of an HDMI cable and asked me what it is this. HDMI cable and asked me what is this. Yeah. Did you know that it was an HDMI cable? What is it? A DisplayPort cable? Are you sure it was an HDMI cable? Was it a VGA? Was it, what is it? The DV whatever? I can't even remember like all the other uh input output types for displays. Like all the old one, VGA, and then oh god, there was all the different those adapters and stuff drove me insane. That you needed for like your video cards and your monitors and crap like that. Why can't I remember the type of cable? See, like you don't need to know the cable types. Come on. It's like if you can do the whole block thing, when you were a toddler, like the square block goes into the square hole. The circle block goes into the circle hole, right? Like that is your adapters and everything for freaking computers, right? Like there's only like so many places things can plug into. And then yeah, anyway. What is you need my hang on. Is it true government or companies you work for virtually monitor your home router? It depends on the organization. Like honestly, like not everybody's going to do that. Like so there's some like agencies and organizations that will send you like like your own specific equipment. You're only allowed to use that equipment. So it might be hooked up to like some type of like VPN system. Like I'm trying to think of what the name of it is now. Somebody's gonna throw it in the chat. I know. Gosh, what is it? I cannot think of it. We use them at the hospital all the time. Anyway, some companies might set you up with like very specific equipment that you have to use for that organization, and you're not allowed to use that equipment for anything else at all whatsoever. That does happen. Whether they're monitoring that stuff or not, I don't know. But I wouldn't say anybody's monitoring your home router. If they have access in some way to your computer, or that computer's like tied to the domain, or that computer's tied to like an EDR or something, or some type of like SIM or something associated, whatever, there could be the possibility where they could see outbound traffic from that device. But more than likely, you're not going to see outbound traffic and everything that you're doing from other devices. There's my answer. AppSec explained, Mr. Alex Olson. You feel like maths for programming, it helps, but by no means is it a requirement. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's a requirement. Your question is, does TikTok you want to go down the route of like who's tracking what and like all of that? Like we can go total conspiracy theory on this if you would like. Although I wouldn't say I'm a conspiracy theorist by any means. But I think at this point in time in 2024, I have no trust in anybody and any organization who has my data, who sees my data, or my data like happens to just transfer across their systems, right? Like I don't like I am under the assumption at any given time that my data is being harvested, and that's just the way that it is nowadays. Whether I'm wrong or whether I'm right, like it's whatever. I'm just going to always be under the assumption that like, hey, somebody can literally go and see everything that I've ever looked at on a computer. And they can go and look and see at every single website that I've ever looked at, like in the past X amount of years or whatever. And I don't care. Like I genuinely just don't care because I'm not doing anything illegal. So I don't care. Like it's out there, it exists. There's no getting around it at this point. Like that is like I feel like going to be always an ongoing issue, and especially with like all the different apps that are out there with your phone, right? Like you carry your phone around with you everywhere nowadays, and like you're giving access to so many different things for different apps. Who I don't know what's going like where that data is going. Like I don't know what data they're pulling or and like whatever. I also just don't care. Like because if I cared enough, right? Here's the thing. And this is like what I tell everybody. If you care so much about your data and like somebody stealing your data or whatever, anything like that, like you're being monitored in any way, get off the internet. Like don't even have a cell phone. Don't go on a computer ever. It's my best advice for you. But you know, yeah, DVI. There you go. Thank you. That's from the previous chat. Thank you. We lost a bunch of people because we went total conspiracy theorist. Like, oh my god, data harvested. Blah. Yeah, data is the new gold. 100%. Like, if you want to talk about like what's the next war going to be? The next war is going to be for data. Like that's how I like feel. It's my opinion, right? And again, not like being like whatever. I just don't trust anybody nowadays, right? Like you have all of these major organizations getting breached left and right, data being sold left and right. I just don't, yeah. It sucks. But it's like, what do you do? Right? Like the only thing that you can do, which isn't really even an option anymore at this point in time. But the only thing that you could do is disconnect from the internet, not have a cell phone. But that's literally not an option because every single thing that you do nowadays is connected to the internet in some way. All of your banking, like all like everybody's shopping and the way that we connect with people, it's all done via the internet. So, you agree with data being gold, but is there no middle ground? I mean, it would be great if, like, we were the ones who were in control of our data and we could choose where that data went if it were to go anywhere, and or if, like, we were being compensated for that data, right? But, like, a middle ground, I don't know. I think, uh, the way that technology evolved in the last 20 years, there really probably wasn't not enough people, and there probably just wasn't enough people really like concerned and thinking about this, or maybe being that like I don't know if anybody could have really predicted the way that things would have gone, like and how they have gone in like the last 20 years. But it's just like it's progressively gotten worse, right? It's like progressively gotten worse, and how your data is not only collected, but also like how when like once that data is then collected, how that is also being used against you. Um, and I say against you, meaning like, like this is like you probably see it all the time. Like you do a Google search for some product or service or whatever, and then for the next like 10 days, all the advertisements that you're getting are for that like same product or products similar to that, right? Like that's to me is like an example of your data being used against you. But anyway, I don't know about a middle ground. You appreciate my point of view and agree with how bad data collection usage it's gotten. You've begun clawing back data from Google, Facebook, and other socials. Slow process. Yeah. Like one of the things that I always say, like, or I've said, and I can't say always say, but I've said like a lot in the last probably 5 years is like, I wish I did not have social media. I wish I didn't have to be on the internet, like truly. But like, because I do what I do, like I am so far into it. Like I am just screwed. Like my face is all over the internet, you know? There's no going back for me at this point. Like, yeah, that sucks. uh, Josh Halo. Should you take a pay cut to get your foot in the door in IT, trying to switch out of your current field? It depends on how big that pay cut is. It depends on how desperate you are to work in IT. And can you reasonably afford to have that pay cut for a period of time? um it sucks. There's so many like factors that you have to weigh out. But ultimately it's like, can you survive by taking a pay cut? you know how long can you survive by taking a pay cut? um there's always it, so much can happen, man. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to answer for you. But it's like I can just say like, "Hey, here's questions for you. Have you thought about them?" Able to do it? Can it be an option for you? I cannot ultimately answer that question though. Rick Riggs, should you look for a level 2 IT analyst position now that you've been a year with the university IT department? Sure. I'd like always be looking for advancement. This goes to everybody. Like at any point in time, at any point in your career, always be looking one step ahead, like ahead of you. Always. Like don't be one step behind. Always be one step ahead. Look ahead. See what options you have available. Always. Avery, what is the difference between IT service desk analyst and IT service desk technician? Oh my goodness. I'd say, oh my goodness, because job titles overall in IT are just so skewed and stupid and just they're just dumb. Okay. For me, they could be that like that's the exact same position, like from where I'm standing right now. It could be the exact same position. Um, like the stupid thing about it is it's like you could take the title, right? IT service desk analyst. And let's say I'm not gonna whatever. Let's just say like you're looking at two jobs. Both of their titles are IT service desk analyst. You know, one job has a specific job description, the other job has a specific job description. Both of those job descriptions do not match at all, but they have the same job title. You're going to run across that all of the time in IT. Job titles, for the most part, mean absolutely nothing. It's the job description that's really going to tell you what that job is all about. So don't pay or don't take too much weight into that job title. Look at the job description. Can IT be enjoyable field in the beginning? Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think a lot of people enjoy IT in the beginning. I mean, I know I did. What are some good websites to learn IT in general, like what you mentioned just now? What did I mention just now? But IT in general. Oh, the OS ticket system. Yeah. So that's just to get like hands on with things. But I would look up Home Labs, like Home Labs. Go out on the YouTube, look up like different Home Lab examples that are out there. Ben Heater. I think this guy's website all the time. But he's my favorite. He's got a lot of tutorials and stuff on his website talking about home labs and stuff like that. That's a great way to start learning. Do I not enjoy IT anymore? Why not? No, I love IT. I say, like, or I don't say it every day, but I think it every day that, like, I'm extremely lucky and blessed because I get to work in IT and I love it. Like, I love every second of it. I get to help people. It's like the number one thing, but, like, I get to help people with IT, and that's just, like, really freaking cool. So, yeah, no, I love IT. Like, what's cool, I think, about IT also, for me and maybe other people who are like me, but, like, with ADHD, like, I always wanna do something different, something new, something catches my eye, like, I get my squirrel moments, and for me, like, IT is it's like I'm always going to have that of like, I'm always gonna have that. Like, I'm never going to get bored, ever. Like, nothing is ever going to be dull because it's just like there's constantly something to learn, and it's cool. Like, I don't know, like, I guess, like, you really have to enjoy technology as like, overall, like, just technology as a whole and, like, what that encompasses, which is a lot of different things, right? Um, I guess for me, like, technology, when I think about technology, it's the things that are information technology related as they apply to, the world of, like, cybersecurity, as they apply to the world of, like, system administration and, like, all that stuff, Um, so I don't know, like, anyway, like, there's getting I will always enjoy IT, I think. Like, there's just again, there's so much to learn, and I really love to learn new things, so what's my stance on VMware? D are people having stances on VMware? Like, why who cares? Like, what I don't why do you ask? I don't necessarily care one way or another for VMware. Like, I've used their products, many, many numerous times over the years. That's a fine they make fine products, but, like, what does it matter? Uh, you know? I prefer VirtualBox because it's free. Anyway, Samuel, uh alright. You could, like, slow down on the questions and then all, like, the very specific questions. Do you want, like, my mother's maiden name? Would you like the last 4 of my social? Would you like my whole entire social? Would you like my address? My phone number? I mean, I can give you all that information if you like. I mean, I could. I'm just joking, by the way. Proxmox is free and is great. Yeah, I like Proxmox. You didn't really mean to question those. You just got your ADHD moment. It's cool. You attempted to time out someone and realized you're not a mod here. Aw, poor Audrey. I can fix that. That means I gotta log into the YouTube machine. I did just get interrogated, didn't I? I feel like I would be the worst person to interrogate because I would be such an a-hole the whole time. Audrey, what was that? No chaos banhammers for you all for now? Well, that time has come because now you have the privilege. Ove, I'm not going to try to say your name. You have an internship in IT help desk, a diploma in networking, A plus cert. The Canadian job market is so bad that I'm not getting a help desk job. What can you do to get one? Well, you're applying for jobs. Yes. Are you getting calls? Are you getting even to the interview stage at all? Because if you're not getting interviews, I'm sorry to tell you, your resume sucks. And I mean that in the most genuine way that I possibly can. But if you're not getting job interviews and you have the qualifications for that job, it's because your resume is not very good. But if you are getting to the interview point and you're not getting offers, well, I would say that you suck at interviewing, but that's just like really mean. And I don't want to say that because it sounds mean. And I don't necessarily mean that. But you could be working on your interview skills for sure. You got to one interview stage out of like 200 jobs you applied to. Yeah. Fix your resume. I know somebody who made a video about fixing your resume. And it's actually called Fix Your Dang Resume. I'll link it to you. I really enjoyed making that video. There's a lot of great resources in there, honestly. But yeah, first thing that I would do and tell you right now is to redo your resume. You are welcome, Roots. Will being an IT tech support help you getting into cybersec? Yeah, it definitely can. The thing of like about cybersecurity, the more experience you have, more than likely, the easier it will be for you to enter into that field from previous fields. There's caveats to that, of course, for sure. There's this guy that I know. I used to work with him. He's kind of cool. His name is Joe Helly. He used to be a mayor, like a mayor of a town, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to do this mayor stuff anymore because politics, blah, whatever." I don't know. He's told the story a bunch of times. I think I interviewed him also on this channel, and he's told the story. But anyway, the point is, he never worked at a help desk job ever. Never worked in IT, and his first job within IT was as a pen tester. So this actually got brought up. This is like the second time I'm bringing Joe Helly up today and telling this exact story because somebody's like, Zach, have you ever heard of somebody like getting a pen test job and like never working in IT before? And they were expecting me to say like, no, it's not possible. But I was like, yep, actually I have, and it's possible, you know. But Joe also put in like just an incredible amount of work to get to where he is, and I give him props for that all the time. Because he literally did put in like I think almost like 2 years of work to get like the skill set that he needed to become a pen tester. And I don't know, he does it now. It's like his job and stuff. I think Audrey works with him. I'm not sure. Acid Burn? We like going. We're gonna watch Hackers. Should we watch Hackers? That's such a good movie. I mean, it's not realistic at all, right? It's not. It's a good movie though. I mean, I guess I grew up with it too, though. So, yeah. Martine, do I know about any other tool apart from Azure to set up a home lab? You don't have your old PC at the moment and your laptop's low on space. Once you bring the desktop here, you use that. I mean, AWS. That would be the other one. Google Cloud Platform. That'd be the other one. But yeah, Azure, AWS. I mean, how low on space is your laptop? How many gigs of RAM does your laptop have? That's like that's the most important question I have. Will CEH help with getting pen test roles? No, CEH is garbage. Okay, but realistically, there are jobs that actually do require the CEH. Unfortunately, there's a lot of like government positions as well that require the CEH. So could it help you? Like, there's such a small, slim chance that it could that I'll just leave it at that. But otherwise, I wouldn't bother with the CEH. Please answer your question. What was your question? Audrey, do you want a job every time I do these random live streams where you help me put my chats on screen? Just kidding. I don't know where your question's at. Ask your question again. What's up? Did you say I'm nervous? I'm not nervous. What the heck would I be nervous about? Don't lick me. I don't like that. Yeah, Restream mod. That's what I was thinking. You have 8 gig of RAM, 30 gigs free. That's more than enough to spin up like Windows Server. You're good. Download VirtualBox and then download Windows Server. Learn yourself some Active Directory. I don't know where your question's at, this person here. Can I suggest any particular vendors to get practice IT network labs in particular? Yeah, there's this amazing tool. Every time I do this, thanks a lot, Trackit Pacer, for ruining Packet Tracer for me. I mean that in a sincere way, though. Cisco Networking has this website and whatever thing. They have Cisco Network Academy, right? And they also create this really awesome free tool called Packet Tracer, and that will let you virtualize like networking switches, routers, things like that. Start there. Like there's so many tutorials out there that exist for Packet Tracer. That's gonna be like your best bet. Like that's gonna like, yeah. There's a lot of content that exists out there that can help you kind of like simulate and go through the process of like virtualizing a network and things like that with Packet Tracer. Why are you asking? Oh, was this what their question was, Audrey? You're the best. Hello. What do I think about industrial IoT will be affected by AI? Is there any freelancing jobs on that? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to close that. Everything is going to be affected by AI at some point. Like how much that like things are affected by AI is like not a question that a lot of people can answer at this point in time. AI is just like evolving at a rate that I didn't really anticipate. So yeah, it's hard to say. It's so interesting to see like where AI is going right now. I can't wait. You're being weird. You love me, and we are all very good here. Well, I love you too. Martin, you thought you need no, I think like Windows Server is, let's see. Windows Server, what's the newest one? 2022. Dang, they're up to that already. I knew that. It's just been a minute. It is, let's see. Windows Server 2022 requirements. Pretty sure it doesn't require that much hard drive space. It's like very minimal. Oh, it does say a minimum of 32 gigs. And it says, be aware. Here, let me share this with you instead of like trying to tell you all about it. Here you go. Be aware that 32 gigabytes should be considered an absolute minimum value for successful installation. This minimum should allow you to install Windows Server 2022 or later using the server core installation option with the web servers. I'm done. Anyway, 32 gigs. So you're almost there. Just, delete a couple things and you'll get there. It'll be great. I answered the question, I thought. Don't feel dumb. I mean, I was wrong, right? Reading through the chat also. Sorry, y'all. Do I think DevOps and automation will reduce traditional IT jobs as development and operations move closer together? It's like a hard question to answer because like here's like the one thing that AI is always going to have trouble with. Like, and it's just like people, right? Like until like AI can actually like think and react like a human does, not like we're a long ways away from, I think, that happening and a lot of jobs being replaced because, like, at the end of the day, especially when it comes to IT, right? Like, your weakest link in everything is always going to be your end user, and I don't think AI is at a point where it can account for end users. And I don't mean this like in an offensive way, and people get, might get upset by this, but I really don't mean it offensive. I'm just trying to like help you understand. Like end users for the most part are like stupid, right? And again, like don't take that as a literal, right? I'm just from a technology standpoint, right? Like end users are dumb. And what happens is, again, please don't, I don't really mean that they're dumb. Like they come up with and do like the most crazy things with technology that you have never seen before in your entire life. And you're like, how in the hell did you do that? I've worked in IT for 20 years. I've never seen anybody with that problem, right? Like that legit happens every single day in IT still to this day, right? It just is weird. Okay. But it happens. AI cannot account for that. Just can't. Just so many, and like so many jobs within IT require interaction, like human interaction often to get issues resolved and to, do things. So sure, some jobs will definitely, probably, more than likely, probably, yeah, I hope you got all that, will be replaced by AI, but not everything. And I wouldn't even say like replaced. It's just like, all right, cool. AI is a thing. Well, something new for you to learn, evolve along with it, right? Like it's not that we're necessarily going to be like replaced. We're going to have new jobs, we're going to have different jobs, and we're going to have other jobs that exist where we're utilizing different AI and automation for things. um but I wouldn't necessarily say that, things are just going to go away completely by any means. The industry is just going to shift and evolve. More than mellow. You just graduated with, I can't even talk, with an AA in math and science, currently doing the Google IT Cert and Python crash course on Coursera. If you want to be a SOC 1 or CSA, are you on the right path? Uh, no. No. Like, I say no because I actually kind of genuinely mean that. If you're looking for is it the Google IT Support Professional certification, or is it the Google cybersecurity certificate that they do is going to be the best, like out of everything that Google offers, that would be the best to get you to like a SOC type of position. But John Strand, who I work with, does this course. It's pay what you can, meaning like it could be $3, like meaning, yeah, like, yeah, you pay nothing because it's, cool like that. Or if you're like, hey, I enjoy this, I'll give you a couple dollars or whatever. You can do that also. But anyway, like legitimately, he does a SOC core skills class. I linked it in the chat. That is going to be the best course that you can take if you want to be in a SOC position. If you're looking to especially get into the blue team and you're trying to figure out like, how do I learn like all the like the skills, the knowledge, the methodologies, the tools, et cetera, to be on the blue team, start with John Strand's SOC core skills class. And again, it's pay what you can. So it could be $0. Hands down, it is going to be one of the best classes that you can take. I promise you. And you are going to have an amazing time because he is such an entertaining instructor. But yeah, that would be the route I would tell you to take for sure. Python is great though, also. So it's a great skill to have, but I don't think the Google IT support is necessarily going to get you prepared for a SOC type of position. All good. You have 128 gigs of RAM. What are you ramming with all of those RAMs? I'm sorry. I'm going through reading all the chat. Oh, Jacob says that his AD server is only using 22.9 gigs. It runs AD, DNS, and some other services. Perfect. There you go. I had a feeling like the base install of server, even still with the newest edition, is only like, I mean, isn't it only like 19 gigs or something though? Maybe 20 gigs, and then with the additions of stuff that you added, maybe throw on a couple gigs or something. I don't know. I feel like it's really not that big of an install. If you install everything, it might be more than 30. Yeah, yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah. All the different services and all that for sure. But you really only need Active Directory. Excuse me. Hmm. This is interesting. Event-driven automation seems like it will remove the more technically heavy tasks away from help desk specifically. Yeah, see that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking about this. There's so much cool stuff coming with AI automation and how all that gets tied into different like SIMs and EDRs and oh gosh, like all those different systems and things that monitor things and track things and on all of that fun stuff. You know, because like there's already like SIMs and things that like exist and well other like tools that uh basically track your behavior, right? So it's like uh they're building profiles of you essentially like every single day like in your job like you are doing like these things like very consistently like you know you're checking your email and you're going into Excel and you're like going to these different websites and inputting data and you generally don't ever steer away from that like in your day to day like that's what you do every single day but like and there's like systems that exist where it's just like if you like venture away from that like you do something that's like different from that like these systems are notifying like you know their security departments and saying hey like this person went like stray they're doing something they don't normally do you might want to look at that that kind of stuff is really cool it's also really creepy for people right because they're essentially monitoring you but at the end of the day again going back to what I said like end users are stupid and again I don't necessarily mean that they're stupid like they're just trying to like paint the picture for y'all uh, but you know, it's cool that like we can be alerted that like, hey, this person is doing something they don't normally do, or they're you know accessing something they don't normally access, and maybe that's questionable. You know, that's questionable behavior for them. Do you need to call them? Do you need to follow up? Or you know, they're like that stuff is actually kind of really cool. Again, because end users for the most part, like yeah, they're going to give you the most problems. So it's like some of these times, like, man, if they're like, you know, clicking on a link in an email and it's taking them to a website that they don't normally go to, right? Like, or whatever, like, there are probably going to be other flags that come up going to like unsafe websites. So I'm just trying to give like a real, like, basic example or whatever. But like, say that monitors, you know, like your help desk team or your security team, and then they call you and they're like, hey, what you doing? Like, see that you're doing something you don't normally do. And they're like, oh yeah, I got this email from our vendor and I needed to go fill out this like uh this invoice or whatever, you know. Well, could be like that in like that was just like uh you're being fished or something, you know. Again, just like trying to throw out like basic examples that everybody can understand. There's no audio. What did I do? Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate that. Did you have a question? Did I answer your question? You said thank you. I'm guessing I answered your question. I'm sorry. But thank you for the super chat. That's not required by any means, but always appreciated. Figured out your problem. You had the tab muted. Well, yeah, it's user error. Are you allowed to cheat? What do you mean by that? If you get the correct solution and customers are happy, is that still considered cheating? What do you mean? What is cheating? What do you think cheating is? I don't know anything about that certificate. Do you need 0 beginner or intermediate programming knowledge for the Microsoft Security Operations Analyst certificate? Microsoft I stopped caring about Microsoft certificates and certifications like I don't know, I think around 2020 when they like just started changing everything about their certifications. And then it seems like every 6 months they're changing something about certifications. Microsoft, what are you doing over there? Microsoft Security Operations Analyst. I can't even type it all. Not solving their problem, but convincing them you have? What is cheating? I don't know. What is cheating? What I'm really curious about what you're getting at. I think I potentially know what you could be, like, getting at. Uh, wait, no. What if the problem is cheated? What are you saying, my friend? What is your question? What is cheating? So here, I'm gonna go back to this. Say if you get the correct solution and customers are happy, is that still considered cheating? And in my head, I'm thinking, because I get this question a lot, like, is it okay to Google things to get the answer? Right? Like, for some reason, people think that could be considered like cheating or not right, or like, you can't do that. You work in IT. You can't Google the answers. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And every single IT professional Googles all of the things all of the time. And that wouldn't be considered cheating. So if that's what you're getting at, yeah, no. Brain melt. Yeah, my brain did melt a little bit there. If you get the solution to solve the problem, it's not cheating. I mean, yeah. You guess Googling? Yeah, no, use Google to your advantage always. And use ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. So I worked I'm going to highlight this chat because I worked in a hospital for like 3 years, and this was an eye opener for me, and I'm sure you know what's about to come, like what I'm about to tell you. But yes, doctors do Google how to do things. They do. I mean, for legit. I hope that doesn't scare you away from going to the doctor. But there's so much information about so many different things out there, right? The human body, right? Like, I just it's impossible for like a singular doctor to like know like everything that could possibly be wrong with you, or and how to fix all of these things. So yeah, they have to Google things. They have to reach out to their peers or other experts in the field to get the answers, because they don't know everything. And that's the same thing with IT, right? Like, there's just no way that anybody could ever know every single thing that you need to know about IT. Right? There's just, yeah, impossible. I could not even imagine. Right? Like, no. So yeah, like, we have to use all of the resources that we have available to us. That's the Googles, that's the Chat GPTs, that's the, your peers, your managers, your friends, the Stack Overflows, the whatever else, the Reddits, the YouTubes. You have more tech experience and certifications. Can you still apply? For what? But yes, experience is king. Experience will always be king. It does not scare you. The doctor had to study, and in studying, they learned how to discern valid info and biases, for sure. Yeah, that's why I'm totally okay with a doctor Googling something, because they should have the ability to look at that information, know whether it's valid or not, and then, like, two, how to dissect that and, like, how to apply that if they need to. That would be like, me saying, like, again, like, similar to what you're saying, like, they went through all those years of studying, like, yeah, they should kind of understand. But anyway. Oh, Natasha. I just need to have like a scrolling thing for this question, because it comes up like all the time when I do these things. If you want to get into networking, go get your CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate. I will link that for you. I would advise, suggest, encourage you to go after the CCNA over the Network Plus all day, every day. The reason for that is the CCNA is cheaper than the Network Plus, and the CCNA is also 10 times more valuable from a marketability standpoint. So, CCNA. And as Nick Barker says, and hello, Nick Barker, CCNA. And there's, what is that, 500 or six? That's 500. CCNA, 500, but 100%. Go for your CCNA. So you've concluded. I'm going to read the first part and the second part, but you concluded your, I guess that's a degree in Brazil. Your dream is to work abroad. Do you think you could begin the application to work abroad, or should you keep improving your career to do so later when you'll be more experienced? If you want to work abroad, depending on where it is that you want to work, like what specific country that you're looking to go to, like, so if it's like the United States, for instance, I would start the process of trying to get into the United States as quickly as possible, because that is a long process these days, from what I hear. But yeah, it's gonna fall down to networking too for something like that. But yeah, I would just start the process of trying to build your network and trying to even start the process of coming over to wherever it is that you want to go. It has always been a long process. It's true. Martine, you've been studying for the JNCIA, Junos. Yes, Junos, because of a lower cost, but said, F it, I'll probably just go and get the CCNA, though I could also try and get both, maybe. I mean, you could if you got the dollars to do it, for sure. CCNA is just one of those things where it's just, Cisco is everywhere. And a lot of people will see like a Cisco certification, like the credentials, and be like, oh, yeah, well, that's great. We're glad that you have that. That looks great for you. Jacob, have I thought about doing more one-on-one mentoring? Because you'd be in, man. I really wish that I could, because I do enjoy it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I definitely enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy helping people, right? I just don't have the time to do one-on-one. That's why I've kind of forced myself to do these live streams also, because like I want to answer questions and try to mentor people as much as I can. But like, yeah, I always feel bad about that. That like you bring out like the guilt in me with like my YouTube channel specifically, because like it's one of the biggest guilts that I always feel in my life, that like I don't spend enough time uh giving back to the community and like doing these types of live streams or putting more content out there. And that's mostly because like, the YouTube channel that I have, it's not small, right? And it has like such a good purpose. Like it's there to help people, and I want it to help people, but I don't always have the time. It's like I always like carry this guilt with it. Like, I wish I had more time to do this stuff. But yeah. I always try to get people to like take over like IT career questions. Like anytime I see somebody, I'm like, oh man, that would be great to like just do IT career questions for me, or like pop in like regularly and answer questions. Um, yeah, I'm always looking for that. Like I would love to have people like just come on and do this and just answer questions, because the community, like people need it. Like the community needs it. Like, there's people here looking for advice. And I'm not always here to do that. So I'd love to have other people who could just come here and do that, because it's not about me, right? Like it's about helping others. So I've even like told people like I will pay you money. Like you come and you do these like live streams or you do videos and just help people, because I can't do it all the time. Sorry. Jacob, I wish I could. But Jacob, you also know, man, like anytime you have a question or you need anything, like you know how to reach me. You know exactly where to find me, my friend. So if you need help or you just want to chat, you know where to find me, man. I mean that. You love being able to search my videos and get answers. Yeah, thank you. Like, I'm glad that there's videos out there that I still have that are helping people. Like, that makes me happy. And I already helped, more than mellow, and you subscribe. Well, thank you, man. I'm glad that I was able to help. That's what it's all about for me here. Like, I just wanna help y'all. I enjoy this. I wanna see you all do better than I'm doing, you know? Like, do better than me. Go out there and just, like, crush everything. And, like, how do I help with that, right? Like, that yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Configuring Cisco switches gets you excited. There's always one of you who get excited by networking. I'm not one of them. I can tell you, like, listen to this. Uh, I worked I've been basically working in IT, like, professionally since, I don't know, 2003-ish, 2002. I mean, I started building websites and, like, dabbling and all that fun stuff in, like, 1999. I'm old. Somebody asked me how old I was. I think it was Samuel, if they're still here. I'm old, okay? So, yeah, 1999 is when I started building websites and really tinkering, but anyway, I worked in IT for over 20 years before I ever made my own patch cable, like, legitimately. I worked help desk roles, technician roles, sysadmin roles, like, yeah, like, did consulting, never made my own patch cable until, like, I was, like, 3 years ago, and I wasn't even, like, technically working, like, in an IT role where I needed to know how to do that. I just wanted to do it because I was like, "Oh, I've never done this before, and I have the equipment to do it. I'm gonna learn how to make a patch cable," and I did, and it worked, and I have to tell you, being colorblind and trying to see some of those colors on them little tiny wires, very difficult to do. Like, I literally like, oh my gosh, I almost had to get, like, a magnifying glass and really make sure, like, am I getting the right colors? Am I doing it? Because 'Cause I'm not sure. These look very similar to one another. It's also 'cause I'm colorblind. You never let Alex you are older than me. What are you talking about, Audrey? Everybody knows that. Even Alex knows that you're older than me. Jacob, seriously, man, reach out to me if you need something, man. I am here. I am available. I'm not available to, like, mentor you one-on-one on a consistent, regular basis, but if you need something, man, please feel free to reach out. You know how to get a hold of me. Ernest, you got the CompTIA trifecta and you're looking to move to the next step after tier 1 help desk and having trouble. Any advice? Well, what is it that you're trying to do? Where are you trying to go? What next step do you want to take? Are you looking for more of like a tier 2? Are you looking for like a junior, like, I don't know, sysadmin role? What's the next steps in your mind that you want to be taking? How are you not able to get a job with the CompTIA trifecta? Trifector? I don't know. Anyway, no offense to Ernest by any means. The CompTIA trifecta is not it's not going to be that valuable for anything like past, those entry level roles, like level 1, level 2. Like, they're just not going to make that much of a difference, especially as you're trying to advance your career. They're not necessarily going to stick out much. It's a great thing to have when you're getting started out, but as you're trying to advance your career, people are looking for more advanced certifications, more advanced knowledge or experience. Um, like, those certifications just don't necessarily cut it all the time. But having experience, that's going to be far more valuable than the CompTIA trifecta. Way to hold out to heck 20 years. Yeah, man, 20 years for real. Never made a patch cable in my entire life. Like, they were always just available. Like, I don't know. Like, I never had to do it. People do think that's weird. I was probably working in IT for like 14 years, 13 years before I ever touched a Linux machine. Maybe even longer than that. 15 years probably before I ever touched Linux. It's probably like 8 years ago that I first touched a Linux machine. I will suffer. Nick Barker, if I could go back, would you do it the same way? Go through IT before going into security related endeavors? If I could go back, I would go into programming probably, if I could. Maybe. I don't know. I say that a lot, but, like, where I'm at currently in my career, like, I wouldn't change anything because I can honestly say, from the bottom of my heart, like, truly genuinely mean this, like, I love where I'm at in my career. I I wanna say, like, I'm at, like, I'm at, like, the, top of my career type of thing or whatever, however I would word that, but, like, I kind of feel that way, but I don't feel that way, but, like, God, I truly am so incredibly happy where I'm at, really. So, if I went back and changed something and that affected where I would be today, like, I would never do it because, again, I think where I'm at in my career right now is exactly where I need to be and where I should be. And yeah, that makes me really happy, like, truly. So I don't know. I don't think I would go back. Dog, what are you doing? Coco, Pepper, come here. Like, you're asking about languages and stuff. I don't know anything about Next.js. I don't. I'm sorry. Thinking any programming and knowledge that you have is going to be beneficial. Why programming? Just look at like AI and automation and all that stuff that's happening, right? Even before that, I would have said programming also because there's just so much that you can do. I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm more of like a creative person, and I would always find benefit in being able to program something and write my own scripts or write my own program or whatever if I needed to, or write my own web app or something. Like there's been so many instances where it's like, oh my gosh, this would be such a great thing to do. I wish I knew how to program that. I wish I knew how to write that, right? Like even going back to like a Python script that I was trying to build forever. Like, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's just a lot more possibility. There's just a lot of options there. Yeah, yeah. Probably more job security, even. You know, but yeah, I'm not a programmer by any means. Am I missing? So you're studying CompTIA. You like networking. You have no experience now. How can you get your foot in the door? I have so many videos. Excuse me, answering that question, but I think there's people here giving you some pretty solid advice from what I've read so far. But if you're studying for CompTIA stuff, best thing you could do, download something like VirtualBox, start virtualizing different operating systems, get hands-on with different technologies, tools, things like that. You said something about networking earlier, so you could download Packet Tracer. That'll let you virtualize networking equipment. I think I told you get your CCNA. Packet Tracer actually comes from Cisco, and all of the learning material that you would need for that is free through Cisco's Network Academy. So I'd check that out too. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. I just realized it is 5:28. I've been live streaming for an hour and a half. I'm glad that I did this, and I'm glad that I'm ending it because I need to go to the bathroom. I'm tired. No, for real. Thank you all for joining today. I really do appreciate it. I say this every week or every time I do this. I'm trying to do these more once a week. I know I missed last week and maybe the week before because I was out of town, but we'll definitely try to do these more often. And you never know, I might do one of these like, again this week. Who knows? Who knows? But thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for all the questions. And yeah, Nick Barker, yeah, see you at Wild West Hacking Fest. Thanks for coming, Audrey. For sure, Natasha. Yeah, anyway, y'all have a great day, and hope I see you soon. And if we haven't yet, please connect with me on this LinkedIn machine. Build your network and build my network as well. No, but seriously, y'all have a great day. Thank you all. Jacob, hit me up, brother. Good to see y'all.